Happy Death Day to You. That 2 is for the sequel. And now a lot of people saw that first Happy Death Day, and they went in there and they got mad at first. Because they went in there and they started laughing. Like, man, I ain't supposed to be laughing at this shit. This is supposed to be a horror movie. You know?
Stop global warming.
I got a meal out the field and I'm still in the ground. A girl from Wooded, they buy and they ready to go.
Look on the bright side. You know, you still got enough money to buy a shirt from DT Merch.
Oh my God. I saw it coming too. I saw it coming.
It ain't all gone yet, man.
I saw it coming.
You still got a little bit right now.
Hey, you know what? You got hit, but you didn't get hit by that kung fu teacher. I knew some people. Man, this motherfucker Jason Blum. I'm about to get my money back. Getting up and leaving, but you stayed. You had fun. It was, and you know what? What seemed like a ripoff or false advertising ended up being a pleasant surprise for a lot of people. More of a comedy than a horror film, but it was enjoyable nonetheless. Film kind of has a big cult following, even though it was successful.
Sure,
you know, but it costs like what, $10 to make because it's Jason Blum. Now they got Happy Death Day to You, and people are like, all right, now you know this movie didn't need no sequel. You doing what the girl in the movie is actually doing, just repeating the same shit over and over. Now you might hear, though, and I don't want to say anything, you might hear, even from watching the trailers, you might see that, okay, things are just a tad bit different. This time, our hero, our heroine from the first one, who, if you remember that, it was the Groundhog Day of death. Every time she died at the hands of this serial killer, or at the hands of herself, she would come back. And she kept doing this until she could figure out who the killer was and actually get her life straight, too. But now it look like she bringing everybody down with her. She like, you know, whoever the dude chasing me, well, he's after all y'all's asses now. And guess what? Everybody gonna have to die and recharge if we're gonna figure this whole thing out. So we might as well work together. Interesting. There's kind of like a Final Destination thing going on. Okay, I can get with that. You know, I gotta get maybe twice as many laughs and maybe twice as much death too. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for Happy Death Day to You, which we were big fans of.
Oh, absolutely.
I actually love the film. I really do. And we'll be back with our review to tell you how this stacks up against the first, or if it's any good at all.
My show brought me to
I am on borrowed time here.
all my fancy things.
All right, you know that big spiel I just gave you before this where I was telling you about how Final Destination, bringing everybody in, you know, it was a horror comedy. Forget all that, what I just said. It ain't all, it's really not that at all. And people are like, but no, of course, I seen the first one, man. You know, so I'm used to being thrown off.
I want more of that.
Ain't nothing gonna catch me by surprise. You don't know what you really getting into. And I can't read, and the hard thing about it is the more I say, the more I'm gonna ruin it for you. I mean, whether you like the surprise or not, I still think you should go in kind of cold. But I will tell you that, you know, this, like I said, but this thing, because what they're pitching is kind of like what they did with the first one. You remember, like they really did pitch it as a horror movie. Like when you went in, you didn't even know it was a comedy,
right?
And that was kind of refreshing.
It looked like it was going to be a horror movie with kind of a sick sense of humor to it,
kind of like Scream, where it was like definitely a horror slasher film.
I wasn't even expecting that much.
Really?
Humor.
Yeah. Now y'all expecting, like I said, man, you are expecting more laughs, but if they gonna do this Final Destination thing, then we're gonna get probably a little bit more horror and death with it too. And no, how can I put this? This is everything but a horror movie almost. This is
that killer with that knife. The first thing he takes out is all of the horror.
Yeah,
big carve. Okay, pull it out now. We don't need this.
Yeah. It is funny how they done just push poor horror back.
Yeah. Hey, do I get to go on?
Yeah.
I'm part of this, right?
Horror just in
Death
the background. This is they not only bumped up the comedy, but this is more of a comedy a sci-fi flick
Yeah.
in a romance. You know, I mean, think about it. It's more of a love story. You know, Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Why the hell you think that they're gonna release a horror movie on Valentine's Day? So what? So dudes can just piss their girls off? No, it's because that they know that this is something that actually will work on Valentine's Day. Now, getting them in there is a whole other thing because the pitch on this is definitely a horror film. But when you see it, it's actually not a bad date movie with the love story that's going on in there, which definitely does play a big part in this. And like I say, I won't say how it all comes together, but as I said, horror all of a sudden they don't even like horror no more.
Right.
Horror is not part of the cool club. Sci-fi, love, and comedy just all up in the front. Like you said, horror just hey guys, can I say something? You know,
I didn't get my piece of cake.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Boo. Rah, rah, fuck it. you actually feel sorry for poor horror. You know?
Who let him in here?
Yeah.
I told you not to bring him.
Oh, look, it's horror. Ignore him. Hey, guys. Rah. Yeah.
Jesus, he's so pathetic.
I mean, it's not for a lack of them, for them trying to push it as more of a horror movie, even more than they did before. All the clips they gave us, all the marketing they got behind it, they really are trying to, like, for people who didn't see it the first time, they trying to get them in there fresh, thinking, ooh, they're going to get y'all good.
Okay, you missed it the first time, but here's your chance to jump in and see what everybody else saw. And now that we got you, here's lock the doors.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. It's going to be plenty of people sitting next to somebody who's looking at them saying, man, what the fuck is this? Because you're going to be new and you're not going to know where it is. I have to tell you that it is, because like I said, man, they're putting everything out there to push this as a horror movie. And in the beginning, it kind of is going that way. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Girl, you deserve that.
I know.
You're supposed to run at that point. Motherfucker down the steps. And she's
Well, she can't pick up his weapon, but yeah, you're supposed
but
to
she
run.
got legs and she can run.
Although there was something satisfying about that. Because as much you'd saying to her, girl, you're supposed to run. I could totally see you doing that.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, my ass would be dead.
Clumsy motherfucker, that's what you get. Oh, shit.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch. Got your ass, didn't I?
You got to admit, I got you.
You still a motherfucker. I would do some shit like that, too. Ha! Fuck, the door's locked. Oh, shit. I'll tell you why I think it started out as a good thing. And that's because for a movie about, look, they know they can't do that. For a movie about repeating the same thing over and over again, you can't do that.
You shouldn't do it.
No, you shouldn't. Even if it's not about that, you should not do that anyway. There have been, and that's what I like about this. There have been so many sequels that have played it so safe doing the same thing. Ghostbusters being one of them. They remade the same fucking movie.
I know.
They didn't do shit different. They played it so safe. You know, I admire any kind of movie that takes a risk, and doing that with this film does take a risk for them.
I thought that same thing. I was like, man, that's pretty good that they're not just repeating what they've done before. Mm-hmm. They're going in a new direction, and we don't see what they're going to do. And whether this succeeds or fails, I got to give them. I applaud them for having the guts to do that.
I got to tell you, man. First of all, I'm a big fan of that because I think some of my favorite movies out there have benefited from dipping a foot in another genre.
Sure.
While making sure they still got a foothold in the essence of what the previous film was.
Alien and Aliens is one of the best examples.
Alien and Aliens, got it right there. Alien being a horror movie, a sci-fi horror movie. Aliens being a sci-fi action film. Same thing with Terminator. Terminator is kind of a sci-fi horror movie. The second one, straight out action film.
Yeah.
I mean, even things like Evil Dead. And Evil Dead 2. Evil Dead 1 was a horror movie. They made it a horror comedy with the second one, to the point where with that third one, that wasn't even a horror movie anymore.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean,
Just
and
a screwball comedy.
yeah. Sometimes sometimes I even give props for just having a case of the don't give a fucks. Fast and Furious, they don't give a fuck.
We change. Bulletproof. Superhuman.
Superhuman. Good Lord. They're just straight up superheroes now.
They are super. I told you, they are the Avengers now,
They
man.
are.
Bring them dinosaurs in. But when I saw that, I said, you know what? I applaud it, man. If that's what people want, you can make it work. Go ahead, evolve, do something different instead of repeating the same thing. You know, and I'm cool with that. I am a huge fan of that. I think it's good for the sake of creativity. I also think that it's good out of respect to your audience, not to do that, man. Not to try to do the same thing and take some risk. And I admire that. Besides the risk, how they're able to. It doesn't always work, but I admire how they're able to kind of balance it all out. I mean, you have like 4 different genres going on in one movie. Of course, things are not always going to work. I mean, look, if they do, then great. You have an awesome movie. But for the most part, for a movie this small, this short, they actually do a lot with what they have. Yeah. It doesn't become as convoluted as it possibly could.
Sure.
And I like that. I like that. I think the part that worked out the best, surprisingly, was the romance, or the love part. I mean, and the reason why is because they brought back Carter Israel Broussard, who's the actor. First of all, they bump up the comedy with that, because if you saw the last movie, no big spoilers, but I'm thinking they get together, and with them having to go back and do things over again, their relationship takes a funny turn, man. Even the audience is like, what the fuck? Did you those people behind me? Like, what?
Yeah.
I ain't supposed to be like that. But it also leads to another subplot where, and I don't want to say what it is, but Tree, who's the main character, she has to make a very heartbreaking decision with her family. That's a part of this whole thing with Carter. So, and I was genuinely moved by that. I was sitting up there like kind of like, man, this old silly ass movie choking me up. I thought, okay, that works for me. That works better than it should in this film. Okay. I guess you didn't see that.
Well, I see it. I'm not blind. Those things didn't work as well for me.
Yes.
And I could say that what you're talking about, the decision she had to make, I saw how that was a hard decision. And I get how it could touch you and give you the feels. And I just thought they went back to it so many times that there was a point where I was like, yeah, okay, we get it.
The comedy is sillier here. That's almost by design. The movie just stopped worrying about the horror, stopped worrying about logic, it stopped worrying about rules, and just started having fun on its own. So it might work for some people, it might not. It worked for me in some parts. There is a part where they do go too far. I mean, near the end of this movie, this shit turned into a Disney sitcom.
Boy, I'll say.
I mean,
honestly, when it got to that part in that third act, I was just so like, y'all, I feel like I'm not watching the same movie anymore.
No,
and you're making me watch the kind of movie that I changed the channel on.
Yeah. When we get to some Zach and Cody shit,
yeah,
it's like, all right, man, look, calm your ass down. You doing too many things, and this is where it ain't working at all.
Yeah,
you just lost your fucking mind. you don't. I mean, the movie's done too. It was really kind of done.
That was the weird thing. It was like, okay, you move to the conclusion. All we gotta do is wrap this up, and it's like, oh no, this has happened, and now we got to go into slapstick territory.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, okay, guys, I've been trusting you all this time because you've shown some smarts. I'm going to believe that you wouldn't do this unless you had an extra clever plan to spin this whole thing on its ear. What do you mean you don't?
Yeah.
So I got to sit through this. My God. Disney, yeah, you're right. Zach and Cody.
Yeah, the movie was
Just Pranksville.
Movie was done. And then the shit just stops. Like, wait a minute, for my last act. No, man. Wait a minute. I'm gonna juggle now. No, man. I'm gonna slip on this banana peel. Ooh. It's like,
ta-da! No.
we were doing like some cool comedy, and then a fucking clown car rolled up. No, man, what are you doing? I really was just, I was like, stop! You don't have to do this.
Right.
Kind of turned into desperation.
Yeah, well, gosh, they love me. Anything I do, they'll just love.
Yeah.
Like, no, you went on a roll. Stop.
But I tell you, it's the sci-fi in here where I think that the comedy is not going to work for everybody. Like I said, that part definitely didn't. It was near the end, so I could kind of let it go. I mean, it went on long.
It was near the end, but had it been just the end and for a couple of gags, you'd be like, well, okay, everybody can do that.
No,
it took over.
No, it was falling all over the room.
It so popped me out of the movie.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's that kind of comedy where people just falling over each other and just tearing up shit. It's
slapstick.
It's slapstick.
It's vaudeville.
Yeah, it is. And the sci-fi part, that's the clunkiest part to me because that's what they're playing with through the whole movie. And the reason why is because, like I said, I'm not going to tell you how it plays into the movie, but I will say time travel is in there. And that's the thing, man. The reason why, today movies even say, listen, we're not going to even try to explain time travel. They working into the story like, well, don't ask about it. And the reason why, because it's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, because they know they can't explain it.
Yeah.
Now, some movies, they can do a great job. We'll go to the old standby, Back to the Future. If you really try to dissect Back to the Future, that's some dumb shit. But it's smart the way it's executed.
Can I get you to not go to Back to the Future? And the reason I ask this is because every movie dealing with time travel, and this fucking one especially, can only knows Back to the Future.
Well, no, everybody knows Back to the Future.
But they always lean on it.
We just saw a movie where they did Back to the
Right.
Future. A movie before that. Shit, Robert Zemeckis can't even make his own movie without referencing Back to the Future.
And then watch this movie, they talk about time travel. Oh, it's like Back to the Future 2. Yes, Back to the Future 2. Jesus, you guys, there's other time travel stories. Give that one a rest.
But they're not as cool.
Oh my God.
Back to the Future, if you really try to pull it apart, it don't make sense.
No.
But they do a great job at telling the story, and you don't even want to go
Right.
into the logic of it.
Right.
But this ain't Back to the Future. It ain't near that good.
No matter how much they reference it, it's
And no matter how much, no matter what you reference it, that's a whole other movie. They did it better. And in the whole time, they just do some things and try to keep on walking. Like, no, back the fuck up. No, you ain't just gonna do no stupid shit like this and not explain it. Because it doesn't they play so loose with the rules.
Yes, because in the beginning, they seem intent on like, hey, we're establishing rules, we're explaining this, and they didn't quite finish. And then from that point on, they go like, well, you got it, so we can do all this. And you're like, I don't think you can.
No,
I think this goes against a lot of what you said, but you really didn't even say that much to begin with.
No, you didn't. No, go try to like pull some science out of your ass and then walk on like, no, come here. What is this shit?
Yeah.
No,
you didn't carry the
explain
one.
this to me, yeah, because this makes no. I'm no scientist, but this makes no fucking sense at all. No, man, it's like if your logic is blaring. If it's that obvious, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with playing with time travel. You really have to be sleight of hand with time travel.
Well, it's interesting because with the first Happy Death Day, the shit just happened. And you just went with it. There was no need. Nobody was asking for that explanation.
Yeah.
So here we go like, well, now we got an explanation. You better have one. Oh, well, I guess we kind of don't.
Oh, we do. It just don't make no goddamn sense. But hey, just ride along with me, right? Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
You don't have to. Just keep on walking. The cast is bigger now, and I like that they are bringing more people in. Of course, Jessica Roth, she returns, and she kind of keeps the frustrated comedic charm that she had in the first one, man. That made her enjoyable there. Israel Bassard, I'll tell you, is Carter. That thing is their relationship gets deeper, and they work very well together. I liked them.
I thought Carter really kind of got the short shaft in this.
Did you?
Yeah, he's there, but he doesn't really do much or add much to who he is.
Well, they bring in so many other people, which
True.
But I thought Carter had some moments in there with her. I like that the roommate that kept popping in. I like that they made his story a little bigger.
Yeah, giving him a bigger story.
Yeah,
because it opens with him, and to the point I was like, okay, well, in this new time we got an Asian leading man here. The story's all about him. And in 10 minutes they went, no, it's the blonde girl. No,
yeah, which I didn't mind. I mean,
I didn't mind. She's really good.
No, she's good. It's her story anyway, and they do work it back in. Five Vu is the guy's name.
I know it sounds like 5-0.
And get out of here, 5 Vu. Hey guys,
man, I flushed my stash down the toilet.
but I will say one of the good things about bringing this cast in and also having the sci-fi element there, even though it doesn't make sense all the time, is that it does play with the horror part a little bit more, but what little bit is in there, because there's a part where you are parts where you don't know. They play with it in the beginning. You don't know who the killer really is.
Well, who is it?
What the?
And everybody's like, whoa, when they showed it. And I think they could have pushed it a little bit more, but I did like that they were playing with that a little bit. Again, it's a situation of the movie being
actually. I like that they played with that so much. I hate that they kind of abandoned it.
Yeah, because I like that guy, man.
Me too.
I like that
me
actor.
too. But that whole premise they have when the movie starts, I was like, all right, now this is really interesting.
Yeah,
but then it doesn't stick with that.
No, they don't. They didn't stick with it. I'll tell you some other people I'm surprised by. I knew that was the guy from Life of Pi.
I did not.
Suraj Sharma, and he's been in a couple of movies where they're a little more serious. That it was kind of cool to see his more humorous side.
Yeah,
which he did well with it.
He
man.
did.
And maybe this is me being racist. I don't know. I didn't think he could speak English. Before. I'm sorry. It was very broken English.
Oh, but he speaks English in Life of Pi.
Yeah, but it's very broken English.
Oh my God!
Yeah. but here, come and look. I've only seen him in 2 movies: Life of Pi and $1 Million Arm or whatever. Or, the movie with John Hamm.
Oh right.
Remember when he was in that?
Yeah.
And he was from India. He was from an Indian village where because we even criticized the movie like, damn, they don't even know, like bringing a caveman into modern technology. Like he didn't know how to work an elevator. And so he's like,
Johnny.
He would make a good
Haji.
Haji.
I think he's too old.
No, that's all right. The movie being a little cheaper, a little bit cheaper than your average film out there. Of course, some things in the filmmaking are noticeable too. I thought the movie wasn't edited all that great.
Editing's kind of bad.
It's a lot of reaction shots.
Yeah,
going on. They don't know how to end a lot of scenes very well. It's a lot of I know, weird, right? People. I mean, they don't say that, but everybody has that expression.
It's the same director as last time.
Yeah, I know. Did they get a different editor? I don't know. And like I said, some jokes fall flat for the way they want to end some scenes. But man, I listen. Overall, though, I'd be lying if I said that is it as good as the first? No, it's not. They're doing a lot of ambitious things right here, and not a lot of it works. But I thought that the film is really. And another thing is that it's really meant to appeal to fans of the first. Like I said, it's almost like a cult following for this movie. That even though it was successful, and it's heavily dependent on you knowing a lot of what happened in the first movie.
That's true.
So if you're not a fan, I don't know if I can, or if you haven't seen the first movie, I don't know how much I can recommend this for you. Sure, you can watch it as a date movie and enjoy the romance parts in here. And it's a heavily flawed film. I can understand people not getting past those flaws. With it being all over the place, it still had a sense of fun going through it that kept me smiling. I mean, that's all I was asking for. Being a comedy, it has to me, it had a little more leeway than something in another genre. being that the basis of it was the comedy genre, and it just maintained a fun spirit. I kept laughing sporadically throughout the movie, and laughing, getting some good genuine laughs from it. And like I said, I appreciate that it went for something different, and for the parts of it that work, I did enjoy. I give it a low matinee.
Oh.
Martin thinking about where he lost his keys. Right?
No. I was there predicting what you were going to give it, and I was off.
What'd you think I was going to give it? Rental?
No.
Full price?
No.
Oh, thought I was going to give him a matinee?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that! You should have bet me some money, man.
Yeah. But I agree with you. It's an enjoyable movie. I think if you like the first one, you'll like this. But I don't think there's any way you could like it as much as the first one. With that first one, not only was it a surprise that it was what it was, but it was just tight.
It was an hour and 28 minutes too. This has got about 20 more minutes on that film. This is like an hour and 40. Something like that.
Okay, maybe you know what, and all that 40, that extra 20. That was all that shit we were talking about. That was bad.
Yeah. It was a very short film, man.
It didn't need it. Yes, the same director as the first one, but not the same writer. He's just credited as one of the creators. I wish they hadn't brought up certain elements, especially with the sci-fi, and then just dropped them. Because I was like, well, man, you kind of set me up for something, and now you're completely ignoring it. And whether you want to focus on that or not, you kind of still need to address it because you brought it up.
You brought this shit up, not me.
But so much of the charm is in Jessica Roth. Is that her name?
Yeah. She's really good in this role, man.
Yeah, she's really good. In this role, in both movies, you see her, and you go like, man, this girl has a certain quality where she's got a good look, and she could do comedy well, and she should be doing more. And I know she had a small part in La La Land, but
yeah, she's one of the roommates.
Yeah. But I was like, I didn't remember any of them.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see for her to take off from this, and what else she could do, and maybe if they do a sequel with this, depending on how it does, it'd be interesting to see where they go with it. Because, like I said, I give them lots of points for wanting to do something different.
Yeah.
Something that bothered me about this movie, and it's a nitpick.
What's up?
When she first comes on screen, I was looking at her. I was like, man, they get really just caked on makeup on her. And I thought, well, maybe it's because she's 30 and they try to make her look younger.
She's 30?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then as I looked at all the other actors, they all had on lots of makeup. Like whoever did the makeup on this film just didn't know how to do it in a way to where it wasn't obvious. Because I was just like, Jesus, I never notice makeup on people, and I can't help but notice. It's almost distracting.
I noticed it too, and I just, I rationalized it. I said just time travel had an effect on them. And again, wore them out, Martin.
Like I said, I think it's an enjoyable movie, and people can enjoy it for a low matinee.
Low matinee, really?
Yeah.
I'm glad.
No, that's why I was shocked, because I was like, I'm gonna give it a low matinee, and I'm sure it's gonna be right under what Corey says. And so when you said low matinee, I was like, oh.
Nah, man, I actually had fun with this. I had an enjoyable time. Like there are things that don't work, and you look, you ain't gonna get a pass on this. I don't care how much I like your ass.
Right.
Bring your ass here. Let me talk to you. But no, I really did enjoy it, man. And the bad thing about enjoying it is I just wish the parts that didn't worked a lot better.
Yeah.
I whatever you do, don't let these people bully your ass into going back into a horror movie or straight horror. Don't do some bullshit next time. Go ahead and take more risk. Just rein your ass in.
Yeah.
And quit trying to be the Disney Channel. Leave that, what'd you say, vaudeville? Leave that. Quit slipping on banana peels and shit, That was fun, right? Well, it doesn't have to stop. Press that subscribe button. And if you really love what we do, check out our main site, doubletoasted.com. Over there, you'll find a long-form version of this video. Also, the live streams that we do almost every night of the week. Support us at dtmerch.com, and remember to always stay toasty.